Hello and welcome to the ThreeWill podcast. This is your host, Danny Ryan, and today's a very special day. I have here with me our marketing intern for the summer, Austin Ryan. Welcome, Austin.
Thanks for having me, Danny. Or should I say Uncle Danny?
Uncle, yeah, no, you're supposed to say your favorite uncle, Uncle Danny.
That's how you're supposed to say. My favorite uncle that gave me a job. Yep.
Maybe next summer you can intern with your other favorite uncle, Uncle Bobby.
Yeah.
And get a taste of sales instead of marketing. That could be fun too.
Yeah, that could be a good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got a lot done this summer, right? You were pretty active this summer.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a ton from tons of videos and stuff. So that was a big part of it, and then also just shadowing you and there's a ton of stuff that I still have to learn, and I was packed the whole summer. So
nice. So let's go through. So when you're our first marketing intern that we have, I believe. I don't think we've had another one. So it was a little bit of a new adventure for all of us.
Actually, I think didn't Alex, my brother, dabble a little bit?
Alex, he did. He came in and did some of the SEO stuff. So yeah, maybe you're following in Alex's footsteps.
Yeah, I'd like to think I did it a little bit better.
Well, I'll let you guys argue that out. I'm not going to get in the middle of that at all. But so I think you were, that was some of the stuff you were coming in to help out with. Was a lot of things. A lot of them were just things I haven't had the time to get to. So it's been nice just having a pair of extra hands to go after things.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice, and I think we tried to do a little bit of going and learning new things, along with applying what you've learned to what we're doing, out on the website and social media and those types of things. So it's been a wide range of things.
It's been good. Doing a Hootsuite certification. I would do the certification and then try to apply it to what we already have going on, and I actually found out that we're doing a lot of things right. So
that's good to hear. That was I'm glad to hear that we're doing some things right, because it feels a lot like sometimes in marketing you're just trying a lot of different things and you're not sure what's part of the whole reason for doing conversions and monitoring things is to see what is doing right. But let's start off, I guess, since you mentioned Hootsuite, some of the stuff with social. Let's talk about some of the things that you did there. You mentioned you took the, we use Hootsuite as one of our tools, and what was some of the things that you learned by doing that? I know one of the things that you were doing was putting out occasional updates on different social networks based upon what you were seeing going on outside the news and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's been a big thing. We do create a lot of content internally, but to be thought leaders, I think we also need to take some of the new stuff of the other thought leaders and put it out there, just because we can't be all encompassing. I mean, a part of the social media strategy is to also use other thought leaders. So that's been something big.
And you got some exposure, so you saw the different social networks that we're using. You ended up going into our Facebook page and taking a look at that, and had access to Twitter and taking a look at what's going on there. And then you let up some new things for us, because I know one of the things we were talking about was buyer personas and who's the typical person who buys our services. And I think for us, recognizing that we could catch some folks on some social networks that you wouldn't expect, like Pinterest. What was that like?
Yeah, that's definitely been something new for us. It's not something that we first thought would be a viable thing to do, but we've been pinning content from technology leaders, and we've actually got a lot of followers, but most of those actually come from your old account.
Okay, well, that's fine. Let's not talk about that. Yeah. They still, at least they're interested in me. Maybe that'll translate over to being interested in ThreeWill. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. But that was great that you were able to start that up, and then you created some boards of things that you wanted to share, and And I think it'd be interesting just to have that out there, and to also, when we look at putting more content out, that's visual content. I think it'll be good to see what we can do there as well.
Yeah, and also talking about visual content, we did recently start up that Instagram account.
Nice.
That's something new, and been trying to put content up in there.
What did you learn about doing? What was the anything interesting things that you learned from starting up the Instagram account?
A lot of our competitors have Instagram accounts.
Mm-hmm.
They're not super active on them, but we're just that's what marketing is.
Yep.
Is just A/B testing and stuff like that, and
Yep.
trying to figure out what works with your market.
Yep.
And
Well, I know one of the reasons why we're looking at this was because we're doing some of the Facebook advertising, and you can link them up with Instagram as well. And I think trying to find maybe catching some folks who, one of the things I recently did, this is something I'll show you actually this week, is some of the remarketing stuff that we're doing. So people coming to our website and then starting to see some ads on Facebook based upon the fact that they went to our site, and then seeing some Instagram posts as well. But that's kind of some cool stuff we can do. You also sort of moving from some of the social stuff over to AdWords and Google. You're now AdWords certified, correct?
Correct. Yep. Wow. That wasn't too hard compared to Google Analytics.
Oh,
okay. That's been a hard one.
Let's get into it. If you had to say one thing, and I know I'm pulling from stuff from it's at least a couple weeks, maybe a couple months ago, from learning about AdWords, because you took the basic one and then you dived into the mobile.
Yeah.
Mobile advertising.
I've done that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. A main thing was trying to find keywords to get the most audience, but also to get the audience that we want. Yep. That's been a hard thing, because we actually were reaching a ton of people and getting a ton of clicks, but the conversions weren't there because we weren't advertising, in my opinion, on the right. There's a lot of apps that we were advertising on, and there are sometimes dating apps and stuff like that where I don't think we can get the right conversions with those kind of things. So
nice. So I remember we had our little challenge of trying to put an ad up, and then starting to get people. The first was just getting impressions, right? This seems like it was so long ago, right?
Yeah.
But just the first step of it was starting to get some impressions, and then getting clicks, and you were getting massive amounts of clicks, right?
Yeah.
And then you sort of, okay, well, let's see what sort of traffic, what are we picking up by doing this? And then we were looking at and seeing where people were, and then we were like, is this traffic really the kind of traffic we want to have? And is this going to translate over to conversion? So I think there were a lot of good, it was interesting to see you go through that. And I think there's even more things to learn along those lines of who am I targeting, where are my ads showing up, and are they translating over to really good quality traffic and conversions?
Yeah, it's such a dynamic thing to worry about. I mean, you got to tie your Google AdWords to your Google Analytics too.
You're just dying to get into analytics, aren't you?
No,
you just want to talk about analytics, right?
No.
What was tough about it? Was it just some of the new concepts, or was it just it was all new stuff, or what do you think was difficult about trying to pick up Google Analytics?
It was I think it was a lot of applying concepts to the big picture of the company, and really knowing a ton of stuff about who our competitors are and stuff. And when I started Google Analytics, I was just starting my internship.
Yep.
And so I barely even knew what you guys did before. I thought I did, but
So part of marketing is actually understanding what the business does, huh?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I understood at a high level, but
yeah,
when you get down to Google Analytics to create
keywords and stuff like that,
Yeah.
what would people who would be interested in our services be searching on?
Just finding our leads and stuff. I mean, that's difficult for any company.
It's amazing. I think one of the things I picked up with analytics, and you're right, there's just a lot of different, getting to what do I really care about, is tough because it's just like a lot of stuff is thrown at you, and so sort of how do you sort of weed through what's the important information is something that is difficult to do, and so I think one of the things it was interesting to sort of look at traffic and how I think a lot of the traffic that we have comes through organic search. So a lot of things that we put out, I think we've got over 500 blog posts and are trying to put out really good content out there. And then seeing sort of, how does that content translate? And I know more recently, we've had some discussions about this, which is, moving from technical content over towards more business related content to the people who would be buying our services versus the people who even, it's funny, you and I, we look through who's showing up to our website, and it's a lot of our competitors doing research on projects that we're doing similar to them, right?
Yeah.
And you answered, one of the things you did as well was you helped out with chat. And you're seeing a lot of the folks who are coming to our website are very technical people looking for technical answers. Is that?
Yeah. I think that's one of the big things that we do well is create content for things that there's not a ton of stuff out on the web. So I think we're a thought leader in that respect. And so I think that's been a really good thing for us. And I definitely think we should keep chugging out the content and just keep it going.
Yeah, that's why we have and a lot of marketing is keeping a pace of good, sort of quarterly things that are done, weekly things that are done, where, for instance, I challenge everybody inside of ThreeWill to do at least one blog post or podcast episode per quarter on something that they've learned and getting, making sure we're taking what we're learning and getting it out there to the rest of the world. And that's what a lot of marketing is, isn't it? It's taking all this wonderful information that we've got inside of ThreeWill and trying to get it to a point where we can share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. How did you like now I set the chat stuff back up.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was it? Because I know you were going back and forth on, people asking you questions, you didn't know the answer to them. What sort of, tell me about some of the things that you learned there.
Yeah, that's been a learning process. I was a little overwhelmed, because I'm not coming from a technical standpoint. And I did learn that I don't technically need to be.
Yeah.
It would be helpful for me to know really quick questions that people have, but most of the time they're really advanced and they have to do with a specific blog post. Since we have the chat set up, we can see what page they're on, and we can see a ton of information about them. So they're usually coming to a blog post and asking a technical question about maybe a project they're working on.
Yep.
So main thing we do is just do the shortcut to tell them to post a comment on the blog post and say that the author will get back to them. So it's been not that hard. Yeah.
Isn't it? Well, and a part of that is just the recognizing an appropriate way of engaging with your audience, which is, you did a great job of, one of the things that you needed to do was to make sure that the author was getting the comments that people were putting up there, and that was a technical thing to go after, wasn't it? And I think we ended up fixing it, right? You found some plugin. Boy, you're turning into you're just like me, buddy. You go find some WordPress plugin that fixes your problem, and the world is happy again.
Yeah.
But it's I think you're learning a good mix of a marketer today has to be you have to be somewhat technical. You don't have to code. You don't have to, some of the things that you pick up, for a lot of marketing is digital marketing, and you have to be, you can't let that be your weakness, is saying, hey, I'm not technical, so I'm not going to learn anything about this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely where marketing is today is, it's almost all on the internet. Like if you want to be cost effective. And so, even though some people might think Google AdWords and Google Analytics is really technical. I mean, some aspects are, and you can make it that way. But if to market effectively, that's where it is today.
Cool. So, what are AMP pages?
They are Accelerated mobile pages.
Yeah. What do we try to do this summer with those?
Yeah, so we tried to set up pages that would convert to mobile really easily, and we got a lot of errors on it. So that was something to do with, and we actually figured out a way to fix almost all of them. I think we only have like a couple.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much most of them are fixed. There's some of them that we have to leave in that iframe, and so it balks on those, but for the most part we got them to render, and so Google is starting to give those pages priority, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of traffic we get around AMP pages and see where that ends up going. So you also did some stuff with like the Twitter card stuff too. With the sign up on the newsletter, that was kind of cool. I'm going through, so for folks, Austin and I had a Wunderlist list that we collaborated on together, and we ended up using that as sort of our place where we would sort of put his to-do list. And the other things you did a lot of, I think you're much more well-informed about WordPress.
Yeah.
What do you think about WordPress?
Yeah. The first time I was logged onto the site, I just didn't even want to do anything because I didn't want to mess it up.
Watch where you click.
Yeah, I feel better about it now.
And now you're talking about plugins and stuff like that. That's great. And you even went through and you did a lot of just little fixes to the site, and you ended up creating some profile pages and doing some photography for the other interns who are doing this, and all great stuff. That's again with regards to marketing. A lot of what a service organization is it's people, and so putting your best foot forward with how do you represent those people with their bio pages is an important thing. Yeah. So I think it was good for you to pick that up. That was awesome. Yeah,
and I like how we have an author page, or an author like a kind of like a user profile where on blog post you can see who contributes to it at the beginning of the blog post. So it gives some kind of, I guess, is authority the right word to it?
Well, it gives them some. It allows for you to give them some context as a person, so that can get to learn to know more about that person. Which I think is important. So it's good that we have that out there. Some other things, and I'll get to the physical marketing here in a little bit, but the Wikipedia page.
Ooh. Yeah, that was.
What are we? So first off, I know it feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? I think one of the first things you learned was not to bring too many things up to me, because you'd realize it was going to go onto your plate if you brought them up, right?
Yeah. So that was probably one of the most even though it's HTML coding, that was one of the most technical things I've done. But it really wasn't too bad. Yeah, I could make another page for someone pretty easily. But
are you marketing your services right now, Austin? Are you? So if you want to reach out to Austin.Ryan at Gmail, what is it? No, it's Trail Clocks, right?
Oh yeah. I probably shouldn't use my ThreeWill email for that.
Yeah, I'll have your email address in the future, so when they contact you, I'll let you know. So that was what was something. What did you learn from that? From getting that page out, besides everything's more difficult when you're doing it for real.
Yeah, well, I learned that even though we had a lot of content on the internet, we didn't have a lot of third-party references that I could use. That's what Wikipedia is, to make sure that it's a viable information. Basically, you have to have third-party people write about it. So that would be like, I guess, news posts, and they really don't like blog posts by other people, even if it's like a big blog. So we couldn't even use people referencing our stuff from a blog post.
Yeah.
So that was a really hard thing, and I actually the ThreeWill page isn't up. I didn't
What?
get that afterwards.
I guess your paycheck isn't going to be posted next time either. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. Oh. I think it was just good for you to go through that exercise, regardless of if you did update. What do we have? We had our Crunchbase article.
Yeah.
That was updated. You updated it with the new logo. I remember you doing that.
Yeah. And also for the future, we can have. I know that we'll probably get the Wikipedia page up because we're getting more stuff written about us.
Yep.
So future intern could maybe get that rolling.
Are you sending a message to future intern?
Yeah.
Austin Ryan to future intern. I know you're out there. I'm sorry. Here's some instructions for you. First instruction is don't bring up things that you don't want Danny to make you do. That's rule number 1. What other you got? Also had so the certifications went Hootsuite, Google, AdWords, and Analytics, and then you got the HubSpot stuff more recently, which was what the inbound marketing, inbound sales stuff.
Yeah, the sales was definitely different than the marketing, but I learned a lot about having marketing and sales work together. Having those leads, having the teams really understand the goals and having the teams work together to create leads that can be marketing leads and sales leads.
Great.
So that was good, even though I didn't do any sales, really. I guess
you helped with sales. Yeah. You did. You're the first part of the whole process. Yeah. You were the face. Even some of the stuff that you're doing with the chat, you are interacting with people who are potential customers of ours. So
yeah,
you're the bright and shiny first face some people have seen, Austin. Some of the other stuff. Well, maybe let's talk a little bit about physical marketing. So you went through, I know one of the things, besides hanging pictures in the office, which is important to have a nice home for everybody here, is you updated the logos on all the doors and things like that. Again, our brand, we've got a very... I want us to be proud of our brand and to have it well represented. And you ended up doing, I know, for all the different conference rooms we now have their names in the new logo. And then
definitely being consistent with our with everything. I've been making a lot of content and trying to be consistent with things that we post on any social media or anything like that, color schemes and stuff like that, and just having it look like ThreeWill has been a good thing to learn, but hard to do.
I think that's good. And then you're I know the last little bit here where you're taking some graphic design, lynda.com courses, which is good, and I encourage you as well. It's like the technical stuff. I want you to be able to also have the a good graphic design, a good sense for it. You don't have to be a master of Photoshop or Illustrator, but I want you to know sort of how to give good direction or do some stuff on your own if you need to.
Yeah, because I definitely had to work on Photoshop and stuff like that, and Audition and stuff like that.
Talking about Audition, that's let's the physical media. Let's finish our physical marketing. You're helping out with we got a T-shirt in the queue. We talked about hats and different things that we could do for marketing collateral. We saw what we did for the SharePoint Saturday stuff. We did.
Snickers.
We have a truck. Three Musketeers. I'm surprised you don't have Three Musketeers on your head right now. Now we have boxes of Three Musketeers in the refrigerator, but learned a little bit about what it's like to put together things for an event like that, which is kind of cool. And we're getting ready for Ignite stuff too, and that's something I'll be working on this week and next week. I'll show you our putting together our booth and things like that. So some more physical marketing stuff. But all good stuff. That's another place where your brand, how it's represented out in the real world, is very important.
Yeah, the at the SharePoint Saturday, talking to people coming up to our booth, that was pretty similar to the chat.
Yeah.
But it was like a real live version.
That was, and then, and it was good for you to hear what different, like listen over the shoulder of some folks about, what is, if somebody has to say, what is ThreeWill and
Like
in
an
a sentence
elevator
or two,
pitch.
an
Yeah.
elevator pitch. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I think that was important for you to hear that, and good for you to hear that. And their consistency is good as well. How consistent we are, I could probably do some better coaching of us internally on that. But all good stuff for you to pick up.
Yeah.
What other physical was good? Yeah, I think it was good for you to use some of your photography skills with taking the bio pictures was a good thing as well.
Yeah, those aren't perfect, but
they're not perfect.
Yeah, it was hard because I think it was winter whenever our photographer took everyone's pictures.
Yeah,
and so the lighting's just not been the same. But
yeah. So looking through the stuff here, what else do we have? We were talking. We were about to get into Audition, which is you're doing post production of these podcasts.
And I'm the master.
You will continue to do those, even when you go back to school for me, right?
Yeah.
And we may pay you for that as soon as the Wikipedia page is up. We'll pay you for it. What'd you learn doing that?
That there's a system to things.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of overwhelming to start out with, but once I figured out how to do it, it's not that bad. So there are some individual cases where editing audio like post production, we've definitely got better at the raw audio with using these new mics, and so that's been good. It's made my job good. But yeah, I mean, I've learned a couple things. Like sometimes someone isn't up on the mic and one person is, so you can't really increase like the amplitude of the whole sound because one person's already has a good amplitude. So like editing the left channel and right channel individually and making that match up.
Cool. So you were learning a little bit about because I know when we record these, you're on a certain channel and I'm on the other channel, and you can modify an individual one before you combine them together.
Yeah, you can, and the only thing is like you got to be careful not to delete any part of one of them because it won't match up with the right. Like, say you delete part of the left channel, won't match up when you merge it with the right channel. So that's something I learned too.
So I'm looking through our goals. You're going to love this, right? We hit a lot of them. The only one, we just need a piece of viral content, which this will definitely go viral, you think?
Please.
You think? What?
Yeah.
You can,
I could. Yeah, I was thinking.
What sort of things? Because you did the blog post. You did. You helped me out with the campaign that's going to end up in a sale. We'll close something out of Trove. Will close. We've got two really good opportunities, so we'll get something closed for that. You learned plenty about SEO, content marketing, commerce, pay-per-click, all good stuff. You recorded at least one podcast about what you've learned. Is that this?
Yeah,
I think that's this. Excellent.
Yeah.
So you're almost done with this internship.
Yeah.
How's that feel? You ready to go back to school and go learn?
Right. I am. Go
share what you've learned.
It's a little different than this kind of learning.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing I did notice is with school, you can, like, say you're doing your homework and you don't know 2 questions and you just opt out to get a 95 because, you don't have to spend time on it if you want to do other things, if you're okay with a 95. But in the real world, you can't get a 95. Like, you got to ask people, or internet's been really big with learning stuff. You just Google. Google's my best friend here, so.
Yep, that's that's usually my first. If you ask me a question, I'll say, "Have you Googled that yet?" It's important to do your own research. That's all good stuff. So.
Yeah, and then even like asking, like the community, like on Yammer. That's always a good option too. If maybe it's something technical that I don't know, can always ask the developers and have them give their 2 cents.
Nice. So even do some internal stuff where you can ask a question internally and get the answer there.
Yeah.
So, was this what you expected it to be? Was the internship? I think it was, from my point of view, it was very successful. What is this? I know there was a lot of, which is tough for you because you're an outdoorsy kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it's tough sitting around and getting things done and stuff like that. And what was the most difficult part, I guess, about the internship?
That probably was.
Yeah.
That's why I started drinking coffee. Because
that's what you were going to say. That's why I started drinking at the office. Whoa, okay. So you started drinking. So that was tip number one is start drinking coffee. So that helped you stay awake and stay employed.
Yeah. Give me some adrenaline every once in a while.
And it's good. I think we tried to mix it up a little bit where we were working up at my house for a little while.
Yeah, that was good.
I think just having a different location is good as well.
Yeah. Have Connor come up and try to give me food.
That's good. He's trying to feed you. So, anything else before you wrap this up that you want to comment on the internship?
No, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, it was definitely a good learning experience, and I'll take all of it to my next job, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I will as many things as I can hand off to you that you can get done at school that's not interfering with your schoolwork. Let's get that clear.
Yeah.
If you want to continue to do post-production of podcasts, that would be awesome. I know you want to continue to do chat on the website because you love that so much.
Maybe. No, some people are definitely fun to talk to.
Yeah. You got to have some fun with some folks. Are you real? Are you real? Are you a bot? Are you a bot? Yeah. But we'll maybe find some stuff for you to do while you're off at school. And I want to say thank you as well. I think it was a great internship. I think you've got a bright future ahead of yourself. I think there's a lot going for you. I think one of the tough things to do is, in general, with working, and this might not have to do with an internship, but just at a small company, is you've got to be self-sufficient, and you've proved yourself to be very self-sufficient, and just point you in a direction. And you, if you didn't know what to go after, you would go search the web, or you'd go figure it out yourself, and that's a vitally important skill to have.
Yeah.
And also, you're willing to try new things out. I think in marketing, you have to be able to try new things. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if you never take that chance to go do it in the first place, you'll never learn. And I think you took a lot of opportunities this summer to push beyond, stuff that you've tried before in the past. And and you weren't like, if I asked you to do something technical, you would at least try to pick it up. And that's great to see. I think that'll serve you very well in the future. And you're welcome to are you going into senior year this year?
Senior
year.
Yep.
So after this, you'll be making the big bucks then, huh?
Well, not for probably a year.
Are you?
Because I'm taking it off.
Are you taking a year off after you graduate?
Yeah. Yep.
Gonna do mission work, or what are you doing?
Well, I'll be in the woods hiking the AT.
Oh, okay, that's right. So you're gonna do that right after school. So that's what you're preparing for, huh?
Yeah. Yep. That's where all my paychecks go.
So that's gonna be the big thing you're doing after you wrap up school, and that takes you. How long is that gonna take you?
It's probably around 4 months.
4 months.
Depending on the shape that we get in.
And you are gonna do that with? You are doing that with someone else.
Yeah. Yeah,
who's that?
A buddy at school. Michael. Shout out
to Michael. Yo, what's up, Michael?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So you got your senior year left. Go climb the AT, and then go take on the world, and
That's the plan.
And then go teach me some things about marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you, everybody. This was really a long. Oh my goodness, we're getting into minute 35 here. Yeah, nobody's gonna be. If anybody's listening right now, you are amazing. And send me an email at dryan@threewill.com, and I will send you back. No, I'll send you a check for $100.
Out of Austin's paycheck.
Out of Austin's paycheck. Well, that's it. We can check the last thing off your list of things to do for this internship, and then you're heading back in a week or two here.
Yep.
And heading back to school, and I wish you the best of luck there, and thank you again for all your help this summer.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You betcha. Thanks everybody for listening. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.